Okay. Is this unmuted? Wait.
Is
Jesus. Oz just came in my ear, bro. That shit was loud. Anyways, we're gonna be reacting to OTZDARVA's Elephant in DBD's room. Okay, let me zoom. Let me zoom. Oh, dude, I think this entire video is just talking about Trapper and how booty cheeks he is.
The Trapper is the most
Trapper
recognizable
needs
and
more
iconic character.
It needs more recognition, bro.
He is literally its poster boy, and also quite possibly the most buff killer in this game's 9-year history.
Yeah, like, oh my god, Trapper's gone through so many different changes. Let me see if I can like think about a couple, right? One of the earliest ones I can remember is that your Trapper traps used to be able to get destroyed by survivors. And forgive me if I'm wrong, right? I don't think they even came back. So you could spawn in as Trapper and you could have a team literally go around and just sabo all of your traps and they just be completely fucking destroyed. And you walk around with nothing but hopes and dream as your power. Like, you don't have shit. So he's gone through so many traits. Oh my god, he's gonna go over him.
Power better, such as the ability to carry multiple traps.
Yep, we just said that.
Boost that he gets when he resets one.
Huge,
and many others. But
wait. Ability to reset traps. Wait, he didn't used to be able to do that? Wait, whoa, dude, I didn't even know that. Okay, I know the faster set speed and the number of traps. We just talked about that.
Many others.
Improved trap spawn logic. Okay, trap sabotage feature removed. This is what I was talking about before. Decrease initial chance to escape. Oh my god, brother. Yeah, so Trapper has gotten as much work done on him as a fucking Kardashian, right? This guy has been through so many whiteboard meetings with behavior. It's insane over the years. And you want to know what's crazy? He's still shit. He's so bad. He's the weakest killer in Dead by Daylight. Oh my god. Like, he's the definition of an M1 killer because his power is about as useless, or it's about as useful as a fucking Nerf gun, bro, in a firefight. I don't know, dude. It's an all wall, right? The poster boy of Dead by Daylight, aka Dwight Nizzle, right? Dwight D.I. Jizzle, right? Is basically the equivalent of Goku Ultra Instinct, right? Like, like survivors have so much like OP perks, and fucking Trapper just has nothing, bro. Oh my god.
But he has also benefited from virtually every single general buffs that all killers have received, such as the faster pallet break speed, the shorter attack cooldowns, and a few others as well. By all means, this should be a strong killer. And yet, if we look at any killer tier list from literally anyone, the Trapper is almost always...
Ah! Bro, who put Chucky at D tier? Who is this guy? What? Well, after nerfs, but D tier? You're putting Chucky on par with Trapper? I think this guy might have to get arrested. Wait. Oh my god. I think that's illegal, bro.
Bottom. And it is here, in fact, that we have our elephant in the room. How can the poster boy of Dead by Daylight actually be
after nerfs
so
Chucky
bad?
is C tier? Yes, I understand, right? I was enjoying Chucky, and then he got nerfed, and then he became very not enjoyable, right? Like oh my god, would have rather stuck my penis inside of a beehive. Okay, but what I'm saying is, Chucky, the Chuckster, MC Little Man, right? On par with Trapper. No fucking shot, bro. No shot. No way.
What actually happened? To help us find some answers, let's go back to this match recorded a couple years ago. This was back when the Trapper had received most of his current buffs, and at least in theory, he should be stronger than
Trapper
ever.
bag.
We started the match out by placing a few strategic traps and then trying to push survivors into them, and it seems our efforts were rewarded. One of the...
Is he doing a nostalgia streak? Wait, that's actually an insane idea. Noed whispers, Agi, and fucking brutal. Oh my god. Take us back to fucking 2016, 17.
The other one seems to be about to. This could be an amazing outcome for us, but if you know anything about Trapper, is that no outcome is ever guaranteed. The survivor on the left gets rescued almost immediately. This is something that you need to know. If a survivor steps on a trap and there is another survivor nearby, the rescue is consistently very, very fast, and there's not much you can do about it unless you are right there. Sadly, the second survivor noticed the trap of the pallet, and
this is why, and I want to say this, old Trapper was so bad in chase, but now since they added the haste effect, he's actually like not terrible. Okay, he's not crazy, but like he's like light years above what he was before. So old DBD, you always had a slot, right, that was taken up by holding extra traps. You just always did. Anyone who would play Trapper, it was like mandatory to run this green one, or I believe there was a purple one, which allows you to hold 3, or maybe it was just a green one. But, and then you would have another one to increase the time in which it would take for them to get out of the trap. Nowadays, you don't see this shit at all. All you see is double haste effect add-ons, right? Like coffee grounds, and also maybe like the purple one, the setting speeds. I can't remember the name. I don't know why. It's fleeing in my mind. You run extra setting speed, and then you run coffee grounds. That way you set the trap fast while in chase, fake out a pallet, drop like, you know, fake trap or whatever, you know, trapper tech, if you will. And or you do that, or you actually place it really fucking fast, and then you have the haste that just feels like it lasts forever, and you're able to actually get that knock, or maybe just get a hit and get them out of a strong area. So like he's so much better now.
Did not go down to
and so on a beehive is
this
stretched.
Forced us to down him.
Not really.
At this point, he did something
5%
very
haste is not
smart,
saving you from
that
Eerie.
any survivor can do.
If
you find yourself going down next to an active trap like this one, you can actually crawl through it, and this will force a killer to actually walk into his own trap if he wants to pick you up, unless he has a certain add-on. If the killer is a little bit clumsy, you can actually force him to do it again, wasting even more time. And this is...
I feel like I should know this, right? Since I was a trapper main for a second. No, it's not. I think it should be base kit for a trapper to not be able to step in his trap. I know that's like crazy, but I really don't think it would like make all that much of a difference game-wise for him. Like I don't think it's game breaking. So like in 2v8, you weren't able to step like you had the makeshift wraps already on. I believe that's what the add-on. It's a white add-on that prevents you from being able to step inside your own trap. It just disarms it. I feel like that should be base kit. And if you step through the trap, it just disarms, right? You have to, it's like, okay, if you want to run through and possibly get a hit on survivor, you're going to disarm your trap, and then you have to waste time turning around and resetting that trap. I feel like that's fair. You give time for potentially an injure or a knock. I feel like that's fair. Like that coincides. So I don't think like making that base kit would be too much trouble. You only watch 2 minutes. I know.
That's what ended up happening to me, unfortunately. I was desperately trying to pick him up on the right angle.
I'm a yapper, bro.
Save would be harder. But in the end, I couldn't help it, and they got a pallet save. And in this situation,
you gotta understand, I was a trapper main. I got so much to say about this fucking topic, man.
Don't down people by pallets as much.
I understand more than a lot of people like what trapper can and can't do.
Completely deny the pallet rescue, but this is a weakness of trapper that he cannot really play around. When you grab a survivor out of your trap, you are completely vulnerable to flashy saves or pallet stuns. And if you hit them, you are also vulnerable to their own
OTR
saving them. So unlike other killers, the trapper has to be very careful in how he uses his power. If you use it at the wrong time or in the wrong way, sometimes your efforts will be completely invalidated. You might have noticed that in this match, we were using the black tar add-on. This makes the traps almost completely black, and back then it was one of the best trapper add-ons.
Oh my god!
In general, were
I remember
very, very
that.
Dark,
you could not fucking see it at all, bro.
Putting a trap anywhere could make it really hard to spot. This is no
look
longer
at that trap setting speed, bro.
I would never use this add-on in the modern DVD. After the graphical rework and all the new maps, if you have this add-on on many maps, you will notice that the traps actually stand out more than if you don't have it, which is the opposite of what it's meant to do. And another thing that has changed for the worse with the graphical rework and the new maps is the grass. All maps had very thick grass in a lot of different spots that really allow you to be very creative with your traps. Survivors had to be extremely careful. Nowadays, many of the modern maps...
bro. Oh my god. I feel like this doesn't get talked about enough either. Oh my god. when DBD inherently made their game better, they made their like prized possession or like their fucking their poster boy, you know, like so much worse. It's almost like as DBD gets better, their killers all get outdated because they made sense in a time where DBD was one way, but in today's day, it doesn't make any sense at all. AKA Trapper, AKA Mikey, and all stealth fucking killers. I just want to say that. Okay.
Have no grass whatsoever, and the ones that do have
like,
a very thin sort of
like
grass.
transparent.
A player with low settings can see through this grass no matter what, so you don't need to pause or wonder. You can literally just look in front of it. If there is a trap, no amount of grass will conceal it. It might seem like a small thing, but trust me, I used to be a Trapper main. This changing grass has changed a lot.
So it's like the original Trapper main, bro.
Back to our match, we've already established that survivors can help each other out of a trap, but they can also use teamwork in different ways. Here, for example, I trapped this pallet to prevent the Talita from
Teammate
using
holds it while she vaults.
Less than 10 seconds later, she's already back on it because someone disarmed the trap. And the saddest part is that even survivors that are on their own can sometimes outplay you by simply being lucky. The way this works is very simple.
He's getting bullied.
It used to be that if you step on a trap, you had a fixed chance to escape. This meant that if you were actually unlucky, you could theoretically be on a trap for a very long time. But now, that's not exactly how it works. Every time you try to escape a trap, your chances go higher.
Okay, I did not know this.
Higher and higher. And the thing is, you still have a very solid chance of escaping on your first try, which is exactly what happened to this Jonah.
God, bro.
Oh. Damn,
I fucking hate when that happens, dude.
Oh my lord.
Yep. You're like, oh my god, crazy.
Like the guy had his
I'm about to get so much momentum in this game. Bro gets fucking trapped and immediately untrapped. And you're like, oh, never mind.
Trap, and I decided to do something a little bit funny to see if I could get away with it. And
can you put another trap in front of him?
Reload first. Do I have time to reload? No, I don't have time to reload. Yeah. This luck aspect of the Trapper's power is incredibly infuriating. Watch this game where I'm playing as a survivor, and the killer literally drops the chase with me to go for someone that stepped on a trap not too far away, only for them to escape on the very first try.
I always like say, and I always think that when you get for me, the way it goes, and what like I tell everyone who like, you know, is trying to like learn Trapper, if you cannot physically see the survivor in your trap, it's not worth going for. If you're in chase and you see the trap meter go off or whatever, like even if the person isn't injured on you, I always say, if you cannot literally see the trap with your eyes, it's not worth. Because by the time you get over there, they're going to be out of it. They're going to be somewhere safe, and they're going to have pallets, right? Majority of the time. So it's not worth. You're dropping chase for someone that's, yeah, they're injured, but at the same time, they could be like across the map, and you just waste the time not only going across the map, but going to someone that probably, I don't know, is still safe. So, you know, it's just like a waste of fucking time.
And funnily enough, a couple minutes later, the exact same thing happened to me. I step on a trap, the killer could have reasonably gotten me, but hey, I escaped first try, so I'm completely fine. Zero punishment.
I mean, like, yeah, you get the health state, but
I have been in this exact scenario so many times, and it is so painful each time. Let me show you one example where one bad trap RNG ruined everything. That's my boy. I'm gonna pick up, but I'm willing to drop, by the way.
Here, let me move my camera for like this section. I think that's fine. Right? Yep, that's fine. All right.
You're joking. Yes, make a drop. Make a drop. Make a drop. Hold up. Okay.
Oh my god, he got auto-aimed.
That's just unfortunate. Yes!
Huge.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
And then she jumped into that trap. Huge.
Okay. She got on first try! Okay. Jesus. Shim. Man, that was awful. As you've seen during these clips, sometimes setting up a lot of traps ahead of time can be a big time investment with basically no payoff whatsoever. You might even be.
This is why one of the best add-ons is the purple setting speed, because it not only allows you to
aggressively, like I did in this.
It not only allows you to set faster, but it also makes it 33% slower in getting out. Huge, bro. No perk, no add-ons. Trapper is very tough. Bro, Trapper in general is tough.
Instead of setting up a lot, you only place 1 or 2 traps, and then you immediately enter chase and use further traps during chase if needed. This might work out sometimes, but let me tell you, against good survivors, and these guys were certainly good, this simply doesn't work. Survivors will play it safe, drop pallets where they need to. They know that you don't have any significant chase power, and if you try to lock down one loop, they'll simply move on to the next. With good teamwork,
and then they'll have a teammate disarmament
back to that same loop a few seconds afterwards, and the trap will be disarmed. And let's not forget that survivors still use a variety of chase perks such as finesse or sprint burst, all of which are very good against Trapper in general. Things like syringes are also particularly painful for him because he has no way to really catch up or pressure a survivor. If someone needs to buy a little bit of time, it's very easy to do it against Trapper. So you might have
Odds
like
gets it, bro.
Where
Odds
understands mid-chase and my pressure completely evaporates. This particular match ended with me having 0 hook stages by the end of the game. They all made it.
Dude. This is the face of like a hopeless gamer, right? This is how it feels to play Trapper in today's Dead by Daylight fucking economy, right? Oh my god. It's like, and granted, you don't know what killer you're playing against, right? But like using the insta heal against the Trapper, bro, like oh my, bro, that's like taboo, dude. It's just, it should be illegal. Like, he struggles so much as it is, and you're gonna bring a fucking insta heal and just like pre-drop in front of me or something, and then just actually get that heal off, knowing it's gonna take me fucking forever to go back and try and get a hit on you again. Like, oh my god, dude, it is like the most diabolical way to play DBD against the Trapper. It's so crazy. Anti-heal Trapper with the add-on that hurts survivors who disarm build idea for you. I've tried that before, but typically in my experience, survivors, once they figure that out, right, that they have one person who's injured already that goes around and just disarms all the traps on the map. That's all they do. They don't do gens, they don't do chase, they don't heal. All they do is make sure there's no traps around the map. It happens all the time, dude. All the time. That's why I don't use that add-on anymore. It's really good, but really bad.
It out, and I genuinely don't think I
should do a Trapper add-on tier list, bro.
Generally were that hard to catch. And lobbies like this with lots of strong items and perks are becoming more and more normalized, so it's something that you constantly have to be ready for. But wait a minute, look at these survivors. They all had really good builds, they brought some insane items, and they still died to a Trapper. How exactly did we win this game? Well, you might have guessed it, it's thanks to the basement. If survivors make the mistake of going down next to basement, this is still one of the major threats that this killer can impose.
This is where he's in his fucking
historically, basement was incredibly powerful for Trapper. So strong. There were a lot of sneaky traps that you could put around it. Back then, the timer on the hook was shorter.
Go to the baseboard.
If you went down next to basement, it was pretty much a death sentence unless there was like one gen left to go or the killer made a mistake.
It was the equivalent of getting trapped by Bubba.
Things are not so easy. Survivors have multiple perks to unhook themselves out of basement, and more second chance perks to work around it. The time that they spend in the hook down there is actually 20 seconds longer, which means that they could easily do 3 or...
Wicked is a Trapper and a Bubba's kryptonite, bro. You have Wicked or Deli, they spend the entire game trying to get one person into basement, and they just so happen to get you into basement, and you have Wicked, which gives you a free unhook in basement, or you just so happen to have Deli, and then you're a free unhook in basement. Even if you try and get out, he hits you, you have fucking like, I don't know, probably like OTR or some bullshit, or you have decisive, so even if you get knocked, it doesn't matter. Like, oh my god, dude.
More gens if you decide to camp, and camping also needs to be done very carefully. If you stay too far, survivors can break into it. If you stay too close, the person down there can gain anti-camp meter, which can allow them to unhook themselves without anyone's help.
Dude, Trapper can't do anything, bro.
Basement is weak, it still remains one of the best things for Trapper. but it's definitely not as good as before. And that is assuming that you have a basement in a place like Shack. Many of the current maps do not have basements like that. They instead have basements in the open with no tight doorways or windows around them. And this is perfectly fine for other killers, but again, it's something that hurts the Trapper a little bit more. Another major source of strength for Trapper over the years was totems. The Trapper was one of the best killers in the game at using hex builds. If you allowed him to set up enough traps around his totems, you could find yourself in a situation
I never did that. I never tried hex Trapper.
You could be caught, you could be injured, or go down next to them, all of which could be a disaster for your team. But if you try to use this type of build nowadays, you will find that more and more maps now have totems that sit in the open. In this match that I played a few weeks ago, for example...
I don't know why behavior has it like that right now. Hex, like, this is why I don't run any hex perks anymore. And this is why I can't understand why everyone's running Ruin right now. Bro, hex totems are so... Like hex perks are so fucking ass now. Oh my god, they're so bad. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone's seen clips, right? Where you spawn into a game as a survivor, and in your, like, spawn, like, pan, like, camera pan... There's like the killer's hex totem sitting there. I've seen so many clips like that. And also I've played killer with hex perks, and I've seen like my hex might as well have a fucking spotlight or a beam of light just right on top of it, because it is like so out in the open, anyone can see it. I'm like, oh my god. Like whenever I see that happen, I get so mad because I'm like, oh bro, like I wasted a perk. I'm down a perk. Like there's no way they're not gonna find this, and there's no way like I can even hold it, especially if I'm playing Trapper. Because, like, you need to, like, get survivors secluded in, like, a fucking, almost like a hallway to even get value a lot of times from his, like, that's where, like, he's most best. Especially on, like, indoor maps. Kind of like RPD, where you can cut off, like, entire, like, pathways by just trapping a choke point. He's insane, bro. Sorry I cried about not being able to find totems. Then they used to have every nook and cranny. Yep. And what's crazy is when I'm playing Survivor, I still can't find totems. So I don't understand it, bro. It's only when I play Killer.
Hexes, and all 3 of them were in places where I could not realistically trap them. If a totem is sitting in the open, if you trap one side, the survivors will simply cleanse it from a different side. This is something that didn't happen before, but that has again gotten worse pretty much only for the Trapper, while not really affecting other killers. And the saddest part is that some of these new map changes are actually good for the game while still being bad for Trapper. For example, back in old DBD days, most maps had one very strong window and maybe a few very strong pallets, and it was actually quite easy for the Trapper to trap around them.
Oh my god, I remember when that wasn't closed.
To these places, and it worked out pretty well. The developers eventually removed these very strong windows. They introduced things like breakable walls, and they added more pallets, sometimes weaker pallets, but more of them nonetheless. This does result in better gameplay sometimes, but again, it just indirectly nerfs the Trapper, because now it's harder for him to anticipate which one pallet or window a survivor is going to use.
Yeah, I think that just comes, like, it is very difficult, but at the same time, I think it just comes with experience, right? Like, and I think this is like a major problem I have with Trapper 2. For a new player playing Dead by Daylight, loading up the game for the very first time, you're not going to have any characters. You're going to have Trapper. Well, actually, no, you're going to have a few. I don't know, like, which killers are, like, necessarily, like, are up to what killers are in the base game. I think it's maybe, like, up to Doctor, right? I think it's up to Doctor. But you're going to have very few killers. One of them being, and the first one you're going to see is Trapper. For those people that play Trapper in the beginning, they're not going to know the number one, like, looped spots, or they're not going to know how to recognize like a loop that needs to be trapped and how to trap it. You know what I mean? So it's like you have one of the worst and hardest killers to play, or like one of the killers that, like, the skill gap is fairly high. Like, he's a simple killer to play, but to be good at him takes a lot of, like, experience and, like, skill. Like, anyone who's like, bro, like, anyone who's, like, consistently 4King or 3King at Trapper, they have fucking so much hours into that killer to understand where, and not only that, but, like, map knowledge and game knowledge to know where survivors typically loop and what are, like, the strongest loops, and where to even spend their time trapping certain things at.
Many of these new filler palettes also have a problem in that they have very thin
We're almost done
around them. This means that if you trap them on the side like you normally do, survivors have too much of a gap and they can actually squeeze right through, ignoring your trap. And if you trap it on the middle, which is the only option left, well, we all know what happens. A survivor can just drop the pallet and then the trap is completely nullified. Now, one thing I want to make clear is that this video is by no means an exhaustive list of every trapper nerf ever. There are so many that I probably don't remember or don't even know yet. All I'm trying to say here is that the trapper, despite receiving a lot of direct buffs, has also received many more indirect nerfs. And that is probably what makes him feel so bad to play nowadays. And so we have to ask ourselves, if the trapper has become so bad over time, is this a problem that the developers are trying to correct? And the answer is no, because they don't perceive it as a problem. In their own words, they are happy with his kill rate. They believe that this kill rate is good enough as it is.
Trapper has a 53% kill rate in 2025.
After seeing all of his weaknesses in this video, it actually does make quite a lot of sense. For the most part, the trapper is a killer played
that has to be in low MMR,
against
no?
other beginners.
Yeah,
Newer
that's why.
players in Dead by Daylight are less aware of their surroundings. They are more likely to step on random traps. They are much more likely to end up getting themselves put in a basement. All of the advanced maneuvers that high-level players can do to help each other out of traps and avoid them altogether, these are very unintuitive. No one really explains to you how to do these things. So it makes perfect sense that newer players do not play around
for like 2
Trapper
seconds
as well.
Dude, it's actually rare that I see survivors.
The Trapper's add-ons are really not that strong against good survivors, but they are incredibly punishing for newer players. Traps that rearm themselves randomly are very confusing. Traps that injure you just for disarming them do a lot of damage to unprepared teams. And let's not even talk about the one add-on that prevents you from escaping a trap if you don't have help. And if you don't know about it, you might end up downing yourself without realizing it. So in summary, we have a killer that will most likely not get any major rework, while every other killer around the tier list is either going to get a buff, has already been buffed, or is waiting for a rework. So yeah, I really don't see a bright future for Trapper. If you're one of those people that still struggles against him, don't forget that you can actually bring one single item and that can reveal his traps.
It's the Elvis
traps. Power can still be revealed by maps.
Oh my god, bro. I fear fucking map up. Not maps. Really is no I fear rainbow maps. So yeah, after I turn this into basically like a 40-minute reaction, to sum everything up in words, Trapper is absolute doo-doo cheeks. Needs a buff. So bad. So bad.